Good morning, everybody. It's 11 o'clock in the villages. It's a beautiful day, and today we're doing Aloha. This is level 2, and we are working in the Black Lowrey Songbook. And what I love about this book for level 2 is that the beginning part of the book is all red, blue, and green. So it's all the basic C, F, G chords. The last part of the book, we take the colors away and we learn minor chords, 7 chords, and the songs do get a little harder. As a matter of fact, a lot of them back there are way harder than I would consider level 2. But we play them anyway just to learn one thing. So every other week, we do one from the beginning of the book so that we can be successful and play. And the following week, we'll do one from the back side of the book so we can push ourselves just a little bit, whether it be to learn a new chord, like I said, or learn a new finger pattern, because that's what level 2 is about. Not worrying about arrangements or presets. We're here to get our right hand and our left hand comfortable on the keys and just get them playing together so that we can make beautiful music with our easy play system. All right, let's review chords. By the way, Aloha is on page 18, and we are at the beginning of the book. So let's just review. Oh, I threw all my little pieces of paper away. Okay. You'd never want to go below the red C. That's going to be your bottommost chord. If you forget or you need to put a 3x5 card or a business card in there, and John, I actually learned that from you, John Purcell. Do that, because that way you'll bump into it and you'll never go past there. That'll help keep your hand in position. Where do we want to be at the top of that range? Well, at the top of that range, we do not want to go above a B. So this is the area where you can play every single one of your easy play chords, 7s, minors, and your major chords, without having to move your hand. And that's the idea. We do not give our left hand a choice. Your hand position: pinky on C, fourth finger on D, E, F is the pointer, and G is your green thumb. Green G, green thumb. And then you're going to take these 2 fingers, index and 3, and push them up into these 2 black keys just a little bit, so you have bumpers. You don't want to be all the way down here at the end of the keys. If you're down here, first of all, they're harder to play. Second of all, it's very easy to roam around if you're not looking. And eventually, we want this hand to be our typing hand, so we don't have to look at it. This is going to be the hand that we start to play automatically. Now, what are we actually going to do here? Let me save all this stuff here. Freeze that, put that, okay. We just want to do pinky on red C, touch and release. The rest of the fingers stay super glued to the keys. Pointer, touch and release. Green thumb, touch and release. Your no chord is any 3 consecutive keys in a row. Two whites and a black, 2 blacks and a white, in any place, but you want to find something that's going to be easy for you to play it the same way every time. Some people like these 3. I actually like the F sharp, and the G as my no chord, because I can just turn my thumb sideways a little bit and grab the F and the G with my thumb, and then my pointer is free to go on the F sharp. So my hand does not move. And every time I see a no chord, and here it's at the beginning of the song, so it's not too critical, but there are times when we do put a no chord in the middle of a song. And so when you're going along playing your chords, you don't want to have to do this. You don't want to have to use the other hand. You want to just be able to grab 3 notes, whether it be with 2 fingers or whether it be with 3 fingers, and just be consistent. That's the key to good chording and good fingering. It's the consistency, so your hands start to remember the patterns that they're playing. Chords also come in patterns, by the way. In Aloha, we have red, blue, and green, C, F, and G. Do you know that that is the most common chord progression in the whole world? F, G, C. Aha! Now you know one of the world's most common chord patterns. And all you have to do is read what's here in the music. All right. As far as right hand, well, first of all, there's no road map in the song. You just play it from beginning to end. We do have a pickup note at the beginning of the song. What's a pickup note? Well, let's take a look first. Let's review numbers. You're 4 over 4. That tells you a lot of things. There's a lot of information just in those numbers. The first 4 tells you that there's 4 beats to a measure. Well, Dawn, what's a measure? A measure is everything in between these up and down lines. The bottom number tells me that the quarter note, because it's written as a fraction, the quarter note gets 1 count. Well, which one is the quarter note? It's the black one with a stem. So every time you would hear a beat, you would play one of these black keys. The white one with a stem is a half note, and it gets 2 counts each. Now, you can actually deduce that by going, 2 half notes in a measure, each one has to get 2 counts. Pretty simple. Every measure adds up to 4. All right, so what about this measure? Here we have a white one with a stem and a dot. The dot adds 50% of the note's value. In this case, it's a 3-count note. Do I have any whole notes on this page? Right here. I have a measure with only 1 note. It is a whole note. It's a circle with no stem, and it's the only note in the measure. Gets 4 full counts. Now, one thing I tell you, don't count. I just told you about counting, and then I turn around and say, don't count. Why? Because if you're counting the notes, it is going to sound like this, and you're not going to be making music. So what I want you to do is play the song the way you sing it, and let me do the counting, and let your instrument, most of all, do the counting. Now, in class, you are not allowed to use a music style. Why? Because that's my job. That's the perk of being the teacher, is I get to use the music style. You, if you want to play along with me, just put it on easy. Choose your sound, put it on easy so that you just get that humming chord. That's all you want, is the humming chord. And then your no chord. So we're actually going to play 4 different chords today. C, F, G, and the N, C, which is the no chord. And we're going to play hands apart. Now, let me talk one more thing about right hand notes. If you see in line 2, I have a measure here where I've got quarter notes. I've got a stem going down. It's on the front side of the note. Here I have a stem going up. It's on the back side of the note. What's the difference? What's the difference? Anything? No takers? There is no difference. They're all the same. It's a quarter note. It gets 1 count. So why do some of the stems go up and some of the stems go down? Well, that's all that is to keep it on the staff. If you notice, everything above that middle line has stems that go down. The higher notes get the stems that go down. Everything below that middle line, the stems go up. And that's just to keep everything on that staff of 5 lines and 4 spaces. That's all that's for, is so that it looks pretty. If all your stems went up, you'd run right into the chords with the high notes. And if all your stems went down, you'd run into your lyrics on the low notes. So that's the only reason for some of the stems going up and some going down. Now, do you need to know that to play music? No, but now you have all the answers if you ever go on Jeopardy. Okay. The first measure is an incomplete measure. What do I mean by that? There's only 1 note. Every measure has to add up to 4. So where are the missing 3? Where are they? At the end. At the end. Music is mathematical. So you will have a lone measure at the end that is also incomplete. And as you can see, there is a dotted half note at the end of the song. and that's the 1, 2, 3, and that's the fourth beat at the beginning of the song. So there's your complete measure. There's another music trivia that you don't really need to know to play it. What you do need to know is, what beat am I going to start on? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 4, correct, correct. So when I count to get you started, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, a low. Also, just use your ears and it'll feel right, guaranteed. Guaranteed. You'll be able to feel the music. Let's do some fingering. And I always write my fingers in pencil because sometimes your fingers want to do something a little different. And I'm going to give you a little trick today, too. If you have super short fingers, I'm going to give you a little trick to make this work a little better. The G is a 1, A2, C3, you have to skip a note there, and F5, you have to skip a couple notes there, too. So it's a lot of stretching. A lot of stretching. Okay. The A is a 2, I'll dream. The G is a 1, and C3. Next line, E5, C3, B2, A1, B2, C3, D4, D4, F5, F5. You have to skip a note there too. Third line, E4, C2. Now if you want to make the C a 3, go ahead. Either one will work. G1, A2, C3, F5. A2, let's go to the last line on that page, G1, C3, E5, C3, B2, C3. Let's go to the top of the second page, E5, D4, B2, C3, G1, A2, C3, F5. That line right there, we play it 3 or 4 different times in the song, and we're stretching. I'm going to show you a little different way to play it in a minute. So line 2, F is 5, A2, G1, C3, E5, C3, B2, A1, B2, C3, D4, D4, F5, F5, E4, C2. Now if you want to make the C a 3, go ahead, but I think the 2 is easier to get there. G1, fourth line, A2, C3, F5. You're repeating it a 4th time. A2, G1, C3, E5, C3, B2, C3, E5, D4, B2, and C3. Okay. Questions? You also have in this song on page 2, at the top of the page and at the end of the song, a tie. A tie. That is that arc line that connects 2 notes from measure to measure. And if you notice, the second note is white. They did not put the letter inside the note. That's just to remind you, your finger's still on it. Don't pick it up and play the note again. Sometimes your ties will be a smiley face line going from note to note. And again, it just matters where on the staff is it. If it's a high one, just depends on where it looks prettiest, to be honest with you. Sometimes the tie goes over, sometimes the tie goes under. Does not matter. So we have 2 of those in the song. Now I told you I was going to give you a little bit different fingering for that very first line. It is some stretching. 1, 2, 3, 5. That's a lot. Well, if that's too much, we're going to add a note. We are going to add, right after that G, we are going to add a G sharp or a sharp G. What does that even look like? Well, if you were to write it, it's going to be on the second line. I should have written this out before. I did not. It's going to be on the second line. And it's going to have a sharp in front of it. Not behind it, but in front of it. And then that G that's next to it, it's hard to see in pencil, isn't it? Sharp G. So you're going to have that G, and then you're going to have a sharp G. And you're going to connect them with a flag, a stem and a flag. So you're actually going to have 2 eighth notes instead of 1 quarter note. Why would I do that? So I can do a thumb tuck and make my fingers stretch a little further so I don't have to stretch so far. So it would be G1, G sharp 2, and A 1. Then the C can be a 2, and then the F a 5. And it's a lot easier to reach. So it just depends on how you want to play it and what's more comfortable for you. I have short fingers. That's the easiest way for me. If you want to play it as written, it's the fingering I told you before. 1, 2, 3, 5. If you want to mix and match and do some of it one way and some of it another, because remember, you're going to play that phrase 4 times in this song. So that's just a way to 1, 2, 1. Get that thumb tuck, then you have more fingers free to stretch up. Did I confuse anybody?
No, I think that sounds prettier that way.
I like it that way too, yes. That's the way I normally play it.
That's the second line of page 2?
Nope, it's actually, well, hold on. Yes, it's the, nope, it's the top line of page 1, farewell, dear love, right off the bat. Page 1, third line, between the end of the second measure and the third measure and the fourth measure, I love you so. It would be G, G sharp, A, C, F. Then we're going to do it again, the top of the second page, farewell, dear love, where every time you have a G, A, C, F, you can put a G sharp right after the G and connect them with a flag to make them eighth notes.
Okay.
Try it and see if you like it.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. G, A, C, F. Then you can put that G sharp in there. And then you're going to do it again at the end of line 3. Let's try it. See what you think, especially if you have shorter fingers like me. Okay. If you were to start this with an introduction, now again, I'm the teacher, so I'm the only one that gets to have on my rhythm right now. If you set up your instrument or you go to song setup, it will usually light up your intro ending button. So how do you get the song started if you're using one of your rhythms? Playing a chord activates the rhythm. You don't have to press the start stop. I suggest activating it with a chord. And I suggest using the chord that's the key of the song. How do I know what the key of the song is?
Last chord.
Last chord. That is correct. Last chord. This is one of those songs where the last chord and the first chord don't match. So if you are one of those people that just always automatically plays that first chord for your intro, it's probably not going to sound like you started the right song. if you start it with an F. So in this case, you would want to write yourself a little note and say intro equals C, and just put a box around your C. Intro equals C, so that it sounds like this. You can get lots of pretty birds. Now, did I use the no chord? I did not. The no chord is optional. You don't even need to play it. So you can put the no chord in parentheses. If you decide to use the no chord and do an introduction, it's going to sound like this. C chord. And it's a little bit extra work, but you can just play that G on that C chord. Don't worry about it. That no chord is not necessary. As long as you're playing that G on a C chord, which is what we start the intro on. And that G is called the pickup note. All right, now one more thing. What happens if you start your introduction? And you get all these pretty birds. Oh, and you're just enjoying the intro, and I was supposed to start. Oh no, now what do I do?
Start
Do
the fourth note.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Don't have to turn off the organ. You don't have to hit the stop button. You don't have to start all over. You just let it play like I meant to do that. And then just make sure you come in on the fourth note, the fourth count. That is correct. Yep. So no worries. I don't want people looking at their window going, 4, 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, that's too much work. Use your ears and let your ear tell you when it's time to come in. If you're looking at this, or if you're looking at your counters, red, green, 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 you're not watching your fingers or your music. We don't have enough eyes for that. So you let your ear be the judge for when it's time to come in. And if you miss it, so what? No biggie. If you miss it, now you might want to take a look and see red, green, 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 just so you know where the count is, and come in on beat 4. You will hear it. You will feel it. It'll be right. No worries about anything. All right, let's try to play all together. I am going to slow this down. Way down. Okay. If you feel like playing along, make sure you're muted up. Make sure you do one hand at a time. If you can do both at a time, go for it. But do not put on a rhythm right now. Do that when we're done with class. Just put it on the easy button so all you have is that chord. We're going to follow this. All right, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Second line. Four, 1, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Then it repeats. 4. 1, 2, 3. Last line. Four, 1, 2, 3. Now that would be the spot where if you wanted to, you could put on your ending button and then it would just end the song professionally for you. If you are just practicing, don't hit the ending button, hit the stop button. If you hit the ending button, it plays the end and then everything disappears and then you have to totally reset up your organ again. So if you're just practicing and you get to the end of the song, just hit stop. Now you can regroup and you can start again. If you want to hit that intro again so you can start with the intro, that's fine. Did I confuse people on that or nope? Okay. If you put on that ending button while it's going to end the song and then everything clears, everything disappears. Then if you want to go back and play it again, you have to physically go back in and reset it up. So if you're just practicing, instead of the ending button, just hit stop. Okay, I have one more trick for you today, then we'll play it again. Okay, this is not a difficult song. This one and Cheatin' Heart, there's several, Release Me, there are several songs in here that are fairly easy, and they use sounds where you can use the glide. The glide. Now, this is the last thing I want you to learn, because level 2, I want you to just focus on getting your fingers comfortable on the keys. What's the glide? The glide will make your Hawaiian guitar do, it's going to make it slide up. Yeah, so how does it work? Well, if you've got a foot switch, you put your foot in the hole, there is a left hand switch. You can feel it. It's two little things that come up on the side of your foot pedal, and you've got a left hand switch. If you move that or lean on it or kick on it, you've got to touch it and lean on it, it's going to detune your melody. Not your chords, not the whole organ, just the melody. Then if you let go of the foot, it slides it back up. So it's kick, play the note, release the foot, and it slides it back up. It gets a little bit hard to do it when you're in the middle of playing the song. It takes a little bit of practice. Those of you that have touch bars, you can program your touch bar to do the glide. It defaults to the fill-in, because the fill-in is the other side. But your touch bar defaults to fill-in. If you have a double touch bar on the bigger instruments, the one on this side does the glide. Now here's a problem. If you're playing a chord and a note, you don't always have time to get your hand over here to make that glide work for you. On the fanfare, on most of your bigger instruments, by the way, I can go to my long pedals, and it's called Pedal Magic. If I touch Pedal Magic, it lights up these things. Long, short, nope. Get close, nope. Fill, nope. Not this time. Glide, yeah, glide sustain. Now I can just take my foot and do the long pedal, and I don't have to worry about my ankle shifting and making my volume go up and down when I'm trying to hit that left-hand switch. So all I need to do is touch a long pedal, play the note, release my foot from the long pedal. Ooh, that's so much easier. Now, you don't want to play the note first and then do the glide, because then it sounds like this. I have nothing wrong with that, but that's not usually how the glide works. It's usually note, kick, or depress your long pedal. No, it's kick first, note, then release. That's the last thing I want you to even worry about. But this is the song later on in your musical career that I'm going to refer you back to practice gliding. If you're not ready for gliding right now, don't worry about it. Forget about it. But it will make your song sound more real. It'll make your song sound more real. Now, another thing is you don't want to do the gliding on every note, because then it'll just sound really dumb. Let's see. That just sounds really dumb. So how do you know which notes to even use it on? The ones that sound like they need it. Usually it's the highest note in the phrase. Sometimes it's the first note in the phrase. So and then you let your ear be the final judge as to which ones you want to glide on. Again, that's your extra challenge for the day. I don't want anybody worrying about gliding. John and Sue, get a room. All right, let's play the song one more time. Keep it on easy. I'm going to count. Make sure you're muted if you're going to play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3, 4. 2, 3. Top of the second page. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Last line. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3. Okay. Nice. Any questions?
I have a question using the glide.
Okay.
So that takes just a little bit extra, like an eighth of a beat or something. Do you take that away from any other notes in the measure?
No, there really is no time. Yeah, there is a little bit. You're correct on that. Take it away from the note that you're doing it on. So
Okay.
if you're starting your glide, because remember you want to kick first, and let me see. I don't know. That should be the complete note. That's actually a very good question, Shar. But if you're going faster, pretty soon you'll get good enough that you won't even notice that there's a time distance. because you'll start to do it faster and faster so you won't even notice it. It does take practice, and that's why I recommend this song to practice on, because that top note is usually the one that you're going to do it on, and you can go slow enough that you can really work on it.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question. Now, other thing. The glide only works on sounds that will glide in real life. What do I mean by that? Well, a Hawaiian guitar, of course, we know it's going to glide because you bend the string and it glides. What about a piano? Can a piano glide?
Sure.
Can it? Can it glide in real life? Can you swoop a piano in real life?
No.
No. So now it's called glide/sustain. So if you're on a sound like a piano, it's now a sustain. So if I hold my foot pedal down or my left foot switch, it will hold that. It'll sustain my piano as a real piano would sustain. So you have to use an instrument that will glide in real life. Guitars usually glide. Strings. The whole ensemble normally does not glide at once, but your violin will glide by itself. Woodwinds, saxophones. Is it going to do it? There she goes. Saxophones will glide. Clarinets will glide. Flutes. Most horns can glide, particularly that trombone will also glide. How about something like vibraphones, your mallet instruments? You can't glide on those, can you? So your homework assignment, if you wish, besides playing the song, is to go through your instrument and see which instruments will glide and which ones don't. And
Okay.
that'll just be a fun thing to try. Organs do not glide. So don't even try it, because that's, well, here I just tell you to try it. Try all your instruments and see what they do. And I think you'll learn something about sounds and your instruments, your trombone, your pianos. You're going to learn about the instruments. And that's a good thing too. All right, let's play it one more time. And then I will let you all go to the beach. How about that? It's still beach weather here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. What did I just do? I turned off my guitar.
I don't know. I started.
I turned off my guitar to show you the piano and I forgot to put it back on. All right, let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3. Now here would also be a place where you could start the song again and go to the lower keyboard. No, not here it won't, because I messed up my sounds. That's all right. 4. 1, 2, 3. And the surf and the birds. Any questions?
Oh,
Okay, did you learn one thing today? If you learned one thing, then you are 100% successful today, and you can pat yourself on the back and say, yes, I did good. Next week, what are we going to do? All
Page
right.
78.
Oh, we're that far already, aren't we? Yes. I can't get started with you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Now, don't let that song scare you. It's not a level 2 song, but we're going to take it apart in little tiny sections, and we're going to aim to learn one thing, a new chord, a new finger pattern. One new thing, that's all we need.
whoa.
One new thing. Okay? If you love the song, then work on it. If you'll always work on something that you want to learn to play. And that's always been my number one rule. If it's a song you don't like, if it reminds you of an ex-boyfriend and you don't remember him, don't play the song. Always play songs that give you joy and make you feel fabulous. All right, let's see what we have. Okay. You guys are the bestest. If there's no questions, Shar, I will be giving you a call shortly unless you've got something else to do.
This morning will be okay, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody. We'll see you in the next class.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.